Hi, I'm Cris, and today I'll be talking about STL's Inline Tenor Ocarina. The Inline Tenor, like the Spearhead and Special Edition Standard Tenor, is available in several different choices of glazes. In contrast to the brighter colors and glossy finish of many of STL's other designs, these ocarinas have a more muted, earthy aesthetic that makes them look and feel more like ancient instruments. The Inline Tenor has some ergonomic features that make it more comfortable to play for extended periods, and it also has a very bright, cheery tone. The Inline Tenor is fully chromatic and plays in the key of C from A4 to F6, giving it a range of 1 octave plus 5 for a total of 13 notes. Here's the scale. The Inline Tenor is 6.5 inches long, and it's about 3 inches wide. It weighs 9 ounces, which is about the same, just a little bit less, as an Xbox 360 controller. Here they are next to each other for a better size comparison. The shape of the Inline Tenor is reminiscent of the shun, an egg-shaped Chinese vessel flute similar to the ocarina but without a fipple. This ancient ancestor of the ocarina is one of the oldest known instruments, dating back about 7,000 years in China. The sound came from blowing across the top of the instrument, like when you blow across the top of a bottle. The shape of the Inline Tenor takes a lot of strain off the wrist and allows for more comfortable playing because the hands can remain in a very natural position as you play. Because of its rounded shape, your fingers will need to reach a little bit further to cover the subholes. If you have larger hands, you may find the Destiny Tenor to be a little more comfortable. The Inline Tenor is made of glazed ceramic, but the surface, rather than being smooth and glossy, is very textured, making it easier to grip for faster playing and covering the subholes. The Inline Tenor's overall volume is moderately loud for a tenor ocarina, and it can be enjoyed both indoors and outdoors. The breath requirements are fairly dynamic compared with other ocarinas from STL, so you'll need to reduce your breath slightly for the lowest notes, and the highest notes will require extra breath to sound clear. Because of this, the Inline Tenor is a great ocarina for developing better breath control. With time and practice, it has the potential to be played more expressively than a less dynamic ocarina. I would best describe the Inline Tenor as an intermediate level ocarina. Because of their easier breath requirements, I think that the DIY tenor, as well as the plastic, Florentine, and Echo ocarinas, are probably still the most beginner-friendly. But for a motivated beginner who prefers the unique look and style of the Inline Tenor, and especially for any player who appreciates and prefers the ergonomics of inline ocarinas, this would be a great choice. The Inline Tenor has a very bright, textured tone, and it is extremely responsive when you articulate a note. The rounded inner chamber makes it quite resonant as well, and the tone has a very earthy, organic quality. I definitely recommend using your neck strap with the Inline Tenor. There is always an adjustment period as you familiarize yourself with the ergonomics and breath requirements of a new ocarina. The inline shape allows for very comfortable playing throughout most of the range, but you will need to develop a good technique for supporting the ocarina when you play the highest notes. I find that moving my pinky to the bottom of the ocarina for high D, E, and F is a good way to help keep the ocarina stabilized. For best results, be sure to use plenty of breath on the highest notes. Using plenty of breath and tilting the ocarina up slightly will produce a better, more consistent tone, like this. Ordinarily, you would need to bend forward to get the best tone, but for the Inline Tenor, the voicing is located on the top, so the technique is reversed. For the lowest notes, be sure to reduce your breath slightly to keep from sounding sharp. You can practice low B and A by comparing them with B and A 1 octave higher to make sure that you're using the correct amount of breath. more you practice, the easier it gets, and practicing this way can help you develop better intonation. The rich tone of the inline tenor has a lot of character, which makes it a great match for many styles of music, including world music, jazz, and just about any kind of upbeat music. If you prefer playing softer, more melodic tunes like lullabies, I would recommend an ocarina with a smoother, cleaner tone, such as the DIY, Enigma, and Standard tenor. If you really like the brighter tone of the inline tenor but prefer the ergonomics of transverse ocarinas, then I would recommend the Echo and Florentine tenor. Well, that's all for this time. Thanks for watching.